Hey everyone, and welcome back to Mill History Talk, the show where we walk through the turning points of modern conflict and talk about how ideas, tactics, and leadership shape what happens on the ground. I'm Laura, and today we're heading to Ramadi, Iraq, in 2006, one of the darkest and most dangerous places in the war, and the site of one of its biggest tactical comebacks. We're going to talk about combat outposts, or COPs, and how a brigade commander, a team of special operators, some brave soldiers, and Marines, and a whole lot of grit, managed to turn a city most thought was lost into the start of a broader turnaround in Iraq. Let's rewind to mid-2006. The U.S. military was 3 years into the war in Iraq. Insurgents controlled large parts of western Iraq. Al-Qaeda in Iraq, or AQI, was calling the shots in Ramadi, the capital of Anbar province, and they were doing it in broad daylight. Armed fighters manned checkpoints, patrolled the streets, and operated openly. U.S. forces were locked down inside a few fortified bases under constant attack. It was bad. Some American commanders were already talking about withdrawal. The idea was that the war was unwinnable, and that maybe the best outcome was to pull out U.S. troops before things collapsed even further. Then came Colonel Sean McFarland and the 1st Brigade Combat Team, 1st Armored Division, ready first. They rolled into Ramadi in June 2006, and brought with them a very different idea, one inspired by another cavalry officer, Colonel H.R. McMaster, who'd used a bold tactic the year before in Tal Afar. Move in, clear neighborhoods, and stay. Don't just patrol. Live in the fight. Establish outposts. Hold ground. McFarland decided to take that idea and go big. He called it Cop in a Box. So let's break it down. What did this actually look like on the ground? Step 1. Find the right spot. It started with intelligence and recon. The brigade staff would pore over drone feeds, HUMINT, SIGINT, anything they could get their hands on. Then teams of Navy SEALs would move in under cover, sometimes in plain clothes, to scout the location. Usually a sturdy house or building sitting on a key road, near enemy movement corridors. They were looking for good fields of fire, a defensible rooftop, and multiple exit points. Once the SEALs signed off, the clock started. Step 2. Take it that night. A company team, usually supported by Bradleys and M1 tanks, often paired with Iraqi army troops, would move in fast. They'd hit the building hard, clear it quickly, and secure the perimeter. If it was occupied by civilians, civil affairs stepped in to relocate the family and offer compensation, often thousands of dollars in rent. Step 3. Reinforce and fortify. Here's where the real transformation began. With the site secured, Army engineers rolled in, bringing with them tens of thousands of pounds of sandbags, barbed wire, jersey barriers, and HESCOs. Bulldozers, forklifts, and cranes worked quickly to turn a residential building into a small fortress. Roofs were reinforced and fighting positions were built. Sniper hides went up. Machine gun nests were mounted. Observation posts covered likely approach routes. While the engineers worked, the soldiers and Marines provided security. Further out, the SEALs set up observation and sniper positions to prevent the insurgents from knowing exactly what was happening and provide early warning of the inevitable counterattack. In some cases, entire intersections were shut down and filled with concrete to block insurgent vehicle access. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective. Step 4. Wait for the fight. This part was baked into the plan. Insurgents didn't like losing turf, and they definitely didn't like a permanent U.S. presence. So after a cop went in, they usually hit back, within 24 to 72 hours. Small arms, RPGs, mortars, sometimes even complex attacks. But by then, U.S. forces were ready. The cop was built to absorb the hit and respond with overwhelming firepower. M2 Bradleys, M1 Abrams tanks, mortars, QRF teams, drones overhead, even close air support if needed. It was a deliberate tactic. Draw them in and break their momentum. Step 5. Expand and patrol. Once things stabilized, patrols pushed outward. Troops did census operations, collected biometric data, and started key leader engagements. Local sheikhs were brought into the conversation. Kids started showing up. Shops reopened. It was slow, but it was real. Step 6. Hand it off. Eventually, Iraqi army units were co-located at each COP. The U.S. forces stepped back to a support role. After that, once the area could hold it, Iraqi police, mostly tribal volunteers recruited through the Anbar Awakening, took over. That was the goal all along. The ability of the Iraqi police to take over the COP was the ultimate success, the return of control of the streets to the local civil authorities. By October 2006, Ready First had built more than 18 COPs across Ramadi. Each one chipped away at insurgent control. The unpredictability of the approach, sometimes building 2 in a week, sometimes none, kept AQI off balance. By the start of 2007, U.S. and Iraqi forces controlled the city. But the impact wasn't just tactical. It was strategic. The success of COPs in Ramadi proved that the war wasn't lost. Not if you were willing to stay, to fight smart, and to connect with the people. The approach became a cornerstone of U.S. counterinsurgency doctrine. It fed directly into the 2007 surge and into FM 3-24, the counterinsurgency doctrine manual. It changed the way the Army and Marine Corps thought about holding ground and securing populations. It also showed the value of local partnerships, tribes, police, civic leaders, and how, when supported properly, they could push back against extremists on their own terms. So that's the story of COPs in Ramadi, a bold, high-risk idea that paid off, not just in the streets of Anbar, but in shaping how the U.S. would fight and stabilize insurgencies across Iraq for years to come. Thanks for listening to Mill History Talk. I'm Laura. Stay safe, study hard, and join us next time as we break down more of the ideas and actions that shaped military history, one decision at a time.